It's the Fellowship of the Geeks Show, brought to you through the support of the following: Awesome Comics at GalaxyCollegeDallas.com, SciFiFX.com, and Voodoo Gingerbread Graphics. Music courtesy of FreePlayMusic.com. You can contact the Fellowship at email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. And now, on with the show! Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Fellowship of the Geeks show for the week of July 30th, 2013. Believe it or not, we're just about out of July. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me tonight via Google Hangout is Mike Marlowe.
Hi.
Are you?
God. Les Webster.
Hi.
And from the website Galaxy Call Dallas, James Pickering. Go ahead and do it.
Oh no, I'm going to be the measure of sanity tonight.
That'll be an interesting change of pace.
That bridge is going to be real low tonight, boys.
Oh boy.
Woo!
Okay. Hope everybody's doing all right. How are you guys doing? Well, I think I already know the answer to that question.
Al Sleet here, you hippy-dippy weatherman.
I love Al Sleep. The forecast for tonight, dark. Continued dark throughout the night, followed by widely scattered light in the morning.
Oh, and don't forget about Biff Barf the sportsman there. Biff Barf picking them up here, barfing them right back at you. Call them like I see them, but if I don't see them, I make them up. That's the show tonight. That's going to be the show tonight. We're going to do the entire George Carlin album.
Oh man, that would take.
What do you want?
Oh, wow,
Especially with the kid there. That would be really good.
that would be great parenting. Right?
When do you think I learned them?
Do you really want her to learn at age... How old is she again? Do you really want to... Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I learned them when I was 4.
That explains so much.
Doesn't it?
What were we going to talk about tonight? I don't remember right now.
Mike, I think that was your call. What was it going to be?
I thought it would be an interesting change of pace if we talked about comic books.
Oh.
Now, why would we want to do that?
I don't know. It's crazy.
There you go, breaking the streak, man.
Oh gosh. What are you guys reading?
Oh, okay.
That was basically the
like our top 5 books that we're reading right now.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Sounds like the beginning of the Bob and Dan show. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
All right. Well, who wants to go first?
Anybody? Okay.
Bueller?
Right now, I am, what is it, number 2 of the Wake series. Who's that Snyder fellow that's doing that one? Kind of a, Scott Snyder doing the post-apocalyptic, well, I won't call it apocalyptic. There wasn't really a war or anything, but it's about 200 years in the future. Well, it starts out, the first couple of panels, 200 years in the future, but then it comes back to present day, and they discover, they discover a sea creature. So far, it's kind of one of mythologies, one of the mythologies coming to life. I don't know much more about it as far as what I've read into it, but I'm really starting to get into these eco type comic books. You've got the Great Pacific that came out, where the guy goes out and claims the Texas state-sized floating trash heap and claims it as his own continent and everything. That, and then you've got the Massive, which is after the Earth has all these volcanic eruptions and ice caps melting and things like that happening. A ship goes missing, and one of its sister ships is trying to find it. And I've been reading that one. And this one here, like I said, is called Wake. I had it floating around here somewhere. It's in a stack somewhere. But that's one of the ones that I'm reading right now. I don't know if anybody else has picked that one up. Maybe. Anybody? Maybe.
I am. Yes, that was on my list also.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Oh, I expected there would be a bunch.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some duplications. That's all right. Well, that's one. Okay.
I'll go next.
Okay.
All right.
One of the ones that I have been reading with interest is 10 Grand. It is Joe Straczynski, kind of in the process of starting back up his comic book publishing company, Joe's Comics. And it is the story of Joe Fitzgerald, who used to be dead. He's kind of a mob guy. He was kind of a mob guy who fell in love, tried to get out of the mob, and then managed to get both himself and his girlfriend killed, except he got up and is now basically trying to figure out how to make it all better. And so he's in his sort of his way of doing this is to kind of help people out as they need it in the regular world. He's essentially trying to track down the guy who killed his girlfriend, and it's 3 issues in. I think 4 comes out next week, and I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Straczynski is good at characters. And so Joe is a character with some depth to him.
Straczynski did a long run on Amazing Spider-Man, didn't he? Or is that another guy with really long?
That's J. Michael. That's someone else, isn't it?
No, same guy.
Oh, is it? Okay, all right.
And Straczynski did a lot of stuff for Star Wars too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's done some runs on some various books. I think he did
a
short run on Thor for a while. And, and obviously he did Babylon 5 before he got into comics. Anyway, so that one's fun.
Okay. Les.
One I'm reading right now is Fairest, which is a spin-off of the comic book Fables. And Fairest gives you stronger female characters in it. You've got females that will battle, females that will lead, rather than just be the very weak sex in this. And it's really good stuff. It's fun, and it's well written, and the stories follow various storybook characters, which really makes it even more fun, giving a little depth to Rapunzel or to Rose Red or anything like that. It's just a fun read, and I'm in the middle of their second compilation, which is like issues 7 through 12 or something like that. It's a nice monthly read, and then of course to get the books is a lot easier than going back through your collection and trying to find out what happened last month, which I have always had trouble with. So,
yeah.
But I do recommend it. It's good stuff. Thomas?
Okay. The top of my list, and I have not been secret about this. I talk about it every chance I get, is Rachel Rising. Terry Moore's brand new series. Well, not necessarily brand new. Issue 18 just came out here the last few weeks, and Les actually was nice enough to pick up a copy of the third trade, which just came out while he was at San Diego and got it autographed from me. Thank you, Les.
You're welcome.
The story revolves around obviously Rachel, who the story starts off with her coming back from the dead. It seems like a lot of these stories are that.
Mm-hmm.
And digs herself out of the grave and trying to figure out what's going on, what had happened to her. And while this is going on, basically, a lot of weird things are going on in the town, and you start trying to find out a little bit the history about not only her but the town, and that it's really been it's kind of labeled horror, but it's not really. I mean, there's some aspects to it. It's a really good suspense mystery book. I always say this when it comes out, it is the first book I will read, and when I put it down, I'm like, oh wow, because there's usually some kind of ending that it just kind of makes me go, oh my god, I can't wait till the next issue. And there's a lot of good stories and a lot of good books out there, but this is one of the few that actually goes, I cannot wait till the next issue. And I gotta wait how long? Because it's not necessarily a month, depending on how things are going. But I can't highly recommend that. It's such a great book.
Yes, it is.
And have you read the latest issue, Les?
No, I have not.
Okay. Because the ending of the latest issue, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I just love it. I love everything that he has written so far. The same man who did Strangers in Paradise and Echo, which was his foray into science fiction. And now he's doing horror with Rachel Rising. So, next.
Is it back to me again?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's see. The other one that I'm reading right now actually is one that it's basically a reboot. Of course, now it's Doomsday Point One. Back in, I guess it was '83 that it was done. It was called Doomsday Plus One. Basically, you've got the world on the brink of war. At the same time, a space shuttle goes up into space. While it's in space, war breaks out. Earth gets wiped out. They stay up long enough for the fallout to decline, and they come back to Earth. And in this one here, it's sort of the same thing, except in the first one you've got them finding an Icelandic, 1st or 2nd century Icelandic warrior who's been unearthed or unfrozen. And in this one, he actually is part of the crew this time, except he's not a 3rd century warrior. There's some slight changes in it from the first time round. Again, to reflect, the digital age. It's not Doomsday Plus One. It's Doomsday Point One. And
this is the John Byrne book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I loved it the first time round, and so far they've only got 2 issues out on this one, but so far the second time around it's pretty good too. Again, not quite as there's been a few tweaks here and there in the story, but other than that, it's still a good read. Why they felt the need to reboot and rewrite, I'm not real sure, but not really knocking it for that either.
Well, they've taken out the fantasy aspects that was in the original run, and so
That's true.
Burns going more for the straight sci-fi aspect of it.
Well, I would consider that even with, they call it fantasy and everything, with the unearthing of the Icelandic warrior and everything, that still kind of fits in the sci-fi mold. course, the sad thing is, it wasn't until after the first one came out that Encino Man comes out, and so now when I think about you unfreezing something, I'll automatically think of Brendan Fraser and that show. So.
Which may or may not be a good thing ultimately.
Yeah.
I loved the show back then. I haven't really seen it in recent years, so I couldn't tell you if it was just me being a young guy enjoying that kind of stuff, or if it was really a good movie or not. Maybe that's something we'll do for a later show. Actually watch it and then critique it.
Do we really want to get into the habit of watching 25, 30-year-old movies and reviewing them?
Why not?
That is taking one for the team right there.
Oh, that makes it my turn, huh? All right. I think I'm gonna jump over to a Zenescope title. One that I have been finding interesting lately is Screwed. It's only had a couple of issues out, but you know how Zenescope tends to pick obviously they started out with fairy tales and kind of ran off on kind of a tangent with those. Lately they've been branching out, and this one essentially they've taken some aspects of Frankenstein and given it a totally new spin. The young lady who is the central character essentially wakes up and doesn't have any memories and doesn't really know anything, and there's this really nasty dude standing over her saying, "You're coming with me," and she says, "Screw that." And in the process of attempting to kick his butt, gets kind of electrocuted, except it makes her more powerful. And so she manages to escape from the nasty guy and get away. And, I mean, like I said, we're 2 issues in, so there's not a whole lot of detail as to exactly why she's being hunted or all of this or any of that. But there's also a couple of FBI agents sort of trying to figure out what's going on. And that's probably getting ready to throw down a little bit and make things more interesting. But it's been an interesting read so far.
It has.
It's essentially an amnesia story with kind of sort of almost superpowers based on electricity and a really angry FBI agent and some very nasty bad guy trying to hunt them all down.
Okay. It's been good so far. It has been. I've been pretty
I
pleased.
may have to look into that.
I was actually a little surprised. I mean, not that I didn't expect it to be good, but that it was
Better than you thought it would be.
It was. I mean, I was. It's not that I had low expectations. I had reasonably high expectations for it, and it's actually exceeding them.
Cool.
So it's fun.
Next.
I'm going to bring up an adult title, Satellite Sam, by Matt Fraction.
Totally not what I was thinking.
I'm sorry?
Totally not what I was thinking when you said adult.
Oh, okay. Matt Fraction and Howard Chaykin doing the story of a children's show star who is killed in his apartment. It's told from the side of, well, you're third person, but you're watching everything unfold in the television broadcast room, the stage at the TV station, and then you have them come across the body at his apartment. But it's fun in the way that Chaykin paces it, or Fraction pacing it, and Chaykin following with some superb ink work. It's a black and white title, but it is well worth the money and well worth the read. Once again, I do say that it is an adult title.
There's a lot of bad words in it.
There's a lot of bad words, and this
Yep.
is similar to Chaykin's Black Kiss in the respect of an adult title.
Okay.
It's a fun read, though.
And I believe issue 2 comes out next week.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, it does.
Yes, I've been keeping up with that one too. It's very, very good.
Yep. My next title, and actually I guess I'm going to be the first one that's going to jump on one of the quote-unquote big two, all new X-Men.
Oh.
I really didn't expect to like this book. Well, I got the first issue just to try it out because for those who are not familiar with it, the founding members of the X-Men were brought back in time to present day from the 60s in the attempt to bring Cyclops, who has kind of gone to the dark side, try to bring him back and realize the error of his ways. And the thing that I've really been enjoying it is not only the original team realizing what the heck they've gone through. It was finding out what they have gone through the last few years. What has gone to what Jean's not even alive. The transformations that Angel and Beast have gone through and that kind of stuff. But just how the world has reacted to them, and of course this is coming at a time where the mutant hatred is almost at the all-time high. It's really been an interesting read. Like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised.
And this coming from a guy who hasn't touched an X book in a while.
The last time I did, I was so confused that I got off it real quick. But I'm liking this. I really am. And the thing that's really been interesting is watching Jean, because at the point that they were plucked out of the past and brought into the future, all she had was the telekinesis. Her telepathy had not developed yet, and now all of a sudden she's been brought in the future. She knows she knows pretty much what has gone on with her future self, and these have been and she's basically been jumped forward power wise too, and she's trying to. It's almost too much for her, but she has developed. But she's taken the reins, and she's really become the leader of the team, which is a very intriguing idea, because Scott Cyclops has always been the leader of the team, no matter through all the different versions of the team, and now he's kind of the younger version is unsure himself because he sees what's going on with his present day self. So Jean is taking over and is leading, and it's been really, really good. I've been really pleased with it.
Who's the writer?
Brian Michael Bendis.
Okay. He's been known to turn out some good stuff.
He can be hit or miss with me. There's some of the stuff I really like, and then there's some that I don't, and I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, I bought the first issue just on a whim, just because I was kind of curious on how this would go, because as Mike will tell you, time travel stories can be kind of iffy. He doesn't even like them. But this, I liked it enough that I got the next issue, and then the next issue, and I'm still with it. About 14 issues in.
Lovely.
Yep.
My next choice, and this is probably going to be my last one because I've got to go knock the kid out and put her to bed. I'm sorry. Please.
CPS.
No,
CPS.
no. I didn't say anything about bourbon. No, one that I'm
Until now.
now one that I'm really enjoying now is I had seen it and I kind of walked by it and I go, and I walked away and then I read a review on it and then my friend Tom said, hey, you need to pick that up, and I think one of you guys said that I need to pick it up, and it's Lazarus, Greg Rucka's new one. What?
I was going to do that next. You're good. Go ahead. Keep going.
And I'm really digging that one. It's almost kind of a you got the new movie Elysium coming out with basically the entire world is a third world country, and you've got this giant orbiting space station called Elysium where all the rich people live, the 1%. This is kind of sort of the same thing. There are no classes anymore between political and geographical. It's all financial, the haves and the have-nots, and you've got these big groups called the families that pretty much control different areas of finance. They may control certain areas of trade, or they may control investing, different things like that. And for those people who are lucky enough to be able to service those families, they're taken care of, but the rest of humanity is what they call waste. And then in each family, to protect the family, you've got one member of that family who has given up everything that they've got to be augmented and trained as a protector of the family. And in this one instance, you've got this character, her name is Forever, and she is the protector of her family. And the only problem is she's learning that she's got a clash of conscience with her job. Some of the people that she's getting rid of, she thinks maybe they shouldn't be gotten rid of, and then the family's trying to keep her on drugs to keep her within line. And again, it's only 2 issues that are out right now, but if I'm not mistaken, issue 2 in August sold out of a 350,000 print run. So that kind of goes to show how people are reacting to it. So far, it's a really good story.
Both issues have sold out.
It's number 1 sold out too?
1 and 2 sold out.
Good deal. But it's a really good story, and I like the artwork with it too. And speaking of Tom, if you go to his Tumblr page, he just did a redesign of Forever's outfit, and it's a really good drawing that he did.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
So, sorry to bust the bubble, Mike. I'm out of here. See you later.
That's cool. Speaking of talk about hit and run. Holy cow.
I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a great night.
See you, man.
Later, James.
Good night.
But yeah, it's a brilliant book. It is wonderful. All right, so I'm going to take another left turn. It's full of left turns today. And I'm going to go with Star Wars Legacy for my next one.
Okay.
This is set roughly in a very right along where the first Legacy title was set. So it's a century or so post episode 4. And this particular story centers on a young junk dealer named Anaya Solo. And she, of course, being related to you-know-who, has a knack for finding interesting situations and getting in trouble and getting out of trouble. And the century-ish post New Hope, there are several factions in what used to be the essentially the New Republic. There's still sort of a republic there, but there's also still an empire. And the Force users are not. It's not as clear cut who's doing what as far as using the Force. There are Sith Lords popping up here and there, um, and the Empire has a faction of Force warriors. The Jedi are still not really all that well accepted, and so it's been a fun ride. Anaya has been sort of unintentionally helping a specific Imperial Knight solve a nasty little problem with what is turning out to look like a new Sith Lord popping up on the scene. And it's one of those titles I sort of popped open. I actually saw the title Legacy and thought, "Ooh, what are they doing?" And I've been stuck with it ever since because it just has managed to keep my interest. I mean, I think number 6 should be coming out soon. I'm not exactly sure when, within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's been fun. It's exciting.
If I may, going back to Lazarus, you've got Greg Rucka, who did a fantastic run on Batwoman, and of course he did Whiteout and its sequel. And then you've got Michael Lark, who gave you Detective number 27 and Gotham City PD. So there you've got a powerhouse. And the one you're talking about, Mike, is very well done itself. I've been amazed by it. My next one is going to the big two, and that's Batman 66, which is one that just has a feeling of the old Batman TV series. As a result, it's kind of amusing. It's just one of those that you can. There's no thinking to be done for this. It's just fun and enjoyable. So I do recommend it.
Who's writing that one?
I'm sorry?
Who's writing that one?
You had to ask me. I don't even recall. I'm sorry.
I keep hearing about it. I keep hearing good things about it.
I think that's one that's sold out pretty quick too. I think it's either sold out or close to it.
Is it intended to be a limited run, or is it an ongoing?
It's ongoing. It's a digital first book that are put out digitally and then they're collected in print form. So I got the first issue. I thought it was kind of interesting. It was kind of the thing that got me. Yeah, you talk about the stories and all that, but the art was kind of interesting. How they handled the art, because they did it kind of 3D pop. I don't know how to kind of describe it, but it's kind of like the colors are kind of off a little bit, to whereas it's kind of like how you see 3D in pop art. I thought that was kind of an interesting idea.
Yes.
And it looks good for the most part, yeah. My next title is Star Wars proper, written by Brian Wood. I had been waiting for this series, and I have yet to be disappointed. It takes place roughly 6 months or so after the events of Episode 4. You have the of course you got the old gang there, but I'm really interested in some of the new characters that he has created and where he's going to go with those, especially I'm forgetting her name right now, but she's kind of Darth Vader has taken her under her wing because she is a Force she's force sensitive, and I'm really wanting to see what Brian Wood does with this character and how things are going to go with that. But I have been very very happy with that title so far. Issue 7 should be coming out. I don't think it's out now, but it should be coming out here real quick.
Yeah, that I agree. Brian Wood's knocking it out of the park with that one.
Even the last issue really got me, and I think I did. That's the one I did review on. Was I noticed how he is maturing Luke. You know, everybody talks about him being a whiny character, and yet in the first movie he kind of was, and then in Empire, not so much, except for the whole thing with the training issue. Uh, but this last issue, you saw a major step of him becoming more mature, and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I thought that was, but like Mike said, Brian Wood's knocking it out of the park. I've been very very pleased with the title so far.
And it's actually good that he's knocking it out of the park because honestly, going back to those characters that come on, everybody knows these guys. He was going to have to knock it out of the park.
He was gonna have to do something.
It was going to have to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is.
And the thing is he hasn't really got political yet. But from what I've been reading, some of the interviews, the next year's worth of stories we'll have a little bit more political intrigue, which will be delicious. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah,
So.
It's okay to have high expectations for that one.
Yeah.
It is okay.
Yeah.
So it's my turn again, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I am going to go with Wild Blue Yonder. It is an IDW title, and it is set in a post-apocalyptic. Hey, here we go again. Hey, if that's where the interesting stories are, then let's go get them, right? A post-apocalyptic world in which the population has had to move off of the surface of the planet, of Earth. Population of Earth has had to move off the surface of the planet. And instead of the traditional going underground, they have chosen to go up into the atmosphere. So you've got aircraft carriers a la the Avengers, and regressed almost to the point of Wild West sort of sentimentalities. You've got a sort of you've got a couple of factions. You've got one, of course, I'm trying to think of the word. The word's escaping me. Essentially, a paramilitary type organization.
Kind of pirates-like.
Yeah, run by a character called the Judge. And what you've got is a one ship holding out against all odds, of course, trying to survive and escape and just kind of get by without getting destroyed. And the Judge is, of course, out to get them. And it's just, there's some fun concepts there. Some of the stuff they've done with the technology they've got is interesting, and some of the strategies they've had to adapt to it's just an interesting take on some things. And I don't want to get into too much spoilerific type detail because you should go pick this up and read.
I agree. It's been good so far.
Yeah, it's getting ready to take a twist. A really hardcore twist.
Yeah.
Repeat the title again, please.
Wild Blue Yonder.
Okay.
Issue 2. Did issue 2 come out last week, or is it coming out this week? I
Um,
sometimes lose track.
yeah,
It's somewhere in
I'm
there. If
thinking.
it's not out now, it's out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was last week or this week too. Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, it's exciting and fun.
Okay, look forward to it. My fourth title is a collection called Martial Law. This was a series that was done in the English Marvel House, and uh, DC has put out a compilation book of all the stories. It's between 450 and 500 pages. This also is an adult title. Martial Law is a character who, according to him, says, I hunt heroes. I am a hero hunter. I haven't found any yet. He takes on the superheroes that were created for the world. He is a person that was altered himself to be a mercenary, a marine that fought in the large war in South America, according to the story, in Central and South America. He returns to the U.S., takes on the mantle of martial law, and he goes hunting the heroes. And the heroes are flawed, greatly flawed, otherwise he wouldn't go after them. He has his own flaws. He is seen as a fascist by the public, but this is in future San Francisco after a large war, and it is now known as San Futuro. And it's a fun read. It takes you a while because you want to read everything that's shown on the buildings, on the guns, on people's outfits. Wherever he could, they put in little notes, and it's just a good hard read. But no one under the age of 18 should really be near this one either.
Notice the trend here.
I am. I don't know if he's noticed it yet, but there's a definite trend here.
Hey, no, wait a second. I tossed in 2 lightweights in there.
He hasn't picked My Little Pony yet, and I'm like beginning to wonder why. I don't know.
What they say is fat chance.
Never say never.
Oh, right.
Because you had told me a couple of weeks ago that you would never have read a digital comic.
I was roped into that.
Yeah.
And it took a huge stage to rope you into it, too.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
After which I was Michigan J. Frog.
My next title is Earth 2 from DC Comics. Written by James Robinson for only a couple more issues, unfortunately. This is Earth in a parallel universe where Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman had sacrificed themselves to stop an invasion from Apocalypse, and now a new group of heroes are coming out with coming to form with Alan Scott Green Lantern, who made some news a within the last year or so regarding his sexual orientation. Jay Garrick Flash. Um, been introduced to Hawk Girl. Just recently been introduced to Doctor Fate and all that. It's been a really well written tale. And the thing is he and Robinson's basically been left alone because all the other books are taking place on one universe, and this one's all by itself. So he can do whatever he wants within reason, and doesn't have to worry about it interfering with anybody else's books
Any
for now.
continuity.
So he's been able to do whatever, I think, pretty much what he wanted to do, and it's been a great read. I've really enjoyed this, and I'm really sad that he's leaving. Not only is he leaving the book, he's leaving the publisher. So whoever's taking over the reins, is going to have some big shoes to fill. So I know you've been reading it, Les.
Yeah, and with that, I don't know, are you reading World's Finest,
No.
which is part of that universe?
Well,
That's Huntress and Power Girl.
Well, they're over in the main universe now.
Oh, have they returned? It's been a while since I've looked at it. But.
Well, they were originally on Earth 2, and then got sent over to Earth 1, because they were Power Girl and Huntress were actually Supergirl and Robin of Earth 2.
Yes.
And then they tried to follow. I forgot if it was Desaad or whoever, through a boom tube, and the next thing you know, they're on Earth 1, and then they find out that, hey, there's a Supergirl and there's a Robin here, but there's also a Batman and Superman, but they don't know who they are. So they take on the identities of Power Girl and Huntress, and basically try to live here, but thinking about trying to, if they can, try to go back home. So
okay.
that's that, or at least that's what it was when I first started reading the book. I don't know how it is now, but there are rumblings that there will be another Earth 2 title, probably coming out with in a fall, a new series. But we'll see. We should be hearing about that here soon. But
Okay.
it's been a real good book.
Cool.
So.
Alrighty. My turn again. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I am trying like mad to avoid talking about the elephants in the room, the huge books that everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to stay away from Saga. I'm trying to stay away from Mind Management. I'm actually.
Saga is a great title.
Yeah, and it's easier to stay away from Saga because it's kind of on hiatus right now. So we haven't had a new issue in a few months, so it's supposed to start up again August or September.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. But I am going to go next with a Dynamite title. The name of the book is Red Team. It is being written by Garth Ennis, and it is about a group of New York City cops, 4 New York City cops, who have taken it upon themselves to take care of problems that are slipping through the cracks in the judicial system. So let's say generic hoodlum A manages to hire a greasy enough lawyer to get off, but they have reason to believe that that hoodlum A is causing a lot more problems than it appears, or just generally being more of a nuisance than he needs to be. They are the 4 of them, the Red Team, are taking it upon themselves to kill that guy. Judge, jury, and executioner. And the issues are written from the perspective of each of these cops starts out each book sitting alone in an interrogation room, by all appearances being interrogated as if they have already been caught doing this. I mean, we're on issue 4 now, so they're still going, and it's the stories and the layers of complexity are just really fun. I'm really enjoying it. It is an interesting character study into police life and into the lives of these 4 people.
That was my number 5.
Sorry.
By Garth Ennis. No, that's okay. It's it's been a really really interesting book. I know you had told me about it, and I went back and grabbed the books and started reading it, and it's been impressive so far.
It's a really fun read. It is, yes. I mean, and to steal Les's thunder, it is an adult book. Lots of bad words, lots of f-bombs in this book.
Well, the Garth Ennis. So.
This is not a surprise to anybody who's familiar with the work of Mr. Ennis, but also not a surprise to anybody familiar with his work. It's really good.
My last one, I've bored before, is Atomic Robo. I believe they're up to 8 books now of their stories. Atomic Robo was created by Nikola Tesla, and in this book they take the attitude that Tesla was not a bad guy, that Einstein was. Not Einstein, Edison was. So there's a constant feud going between the two. I've read 6 of the books and thoroughly enjoyed each one. This is an all-ages title. If you go as low as 6 years old or something, things may have to be explained to them, but there is nothing that's going to cause a problem in explanation. Atomic Robo takes on anything and everything. He's a short-statured robot. He's probably a 5-foot tall robot, but you have to laugh at some of the stuff that goes on. He meets with Dr. Dinosaur, who is a complete idiot, yet gives enough humor to the stories that everybody is happy. I'm always happy by the end of the book, and I swear I put down a book and I want the next one immediately. It's just fun reading, and it's one that I can recommend this, and I'll recommend it to anybody and everybody, unfortunately, that will listen to me. But I think if you try it, I don't see that you'll say, wow, this was stupid, because it's just fun. It's just good-natured fun. Simple line work, great stories, and the main character comes off with a feeling. You really care for the person. So it's fun.
I love me some Robo.
Robo.
And don't mistake. Les is right when he says that it's for all intents and purposes an all ages book, but don't be mistaken. It's funny. Robo is like the king of all smartasses and never stops, and it just, oh man, it'll have you rolling. It's awesome stuff. I'm a big fan.
In one of the volumes, they included they've been including the Free Comic Book Day issues, and in one of them it was just great, being taking place at I want to say a science fair, having to battle a really goofy criminal at the science fair, and it's one that I recommend it, and You have a young boy, Mike, and I'm sure that it's one that you could sit down and read to him that he could have some giggles over anyway.
Yep. And grown-ups will giggle too.
Yeah. Well, let me throw another title out there. This one's from Comics Tribe. It's the Red 10. And essentially, it is a superhero version of 10 Little Indians, or the Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie's the 10 Little Indians, and then there was none, depending on which version of the book or movie you've seen. It's essentially, in this universe, their version of Batman, who is a female called Red, has been murdered. So a team gets together, and I believe it was called the Alliance, gets together and find out that it's her arch nemesis Oxymoron, who's basically their version of Joker, is responsible. So they go to his hideout to confront him, and while they find him dead, but while they're there, slowly but surely, the other members of the Alliance are being killed. The fourth issue should be coming out here next month. It's bi-monthly, the way it's been going. It's a 10-issue limited series, not really a limited series, but just a finite series. Issue 0 came out with as part of Free Comic Book Day. It's been really, really good. It's been a really interesting series. The thing that has me intrigued is while you got the main storyline, which if you're familiar with the story, you know it, except for you just don't know how it's going to end. But the amount of detail that they put they're putting into the characters, to where they have a relationship. They've been working together for years. They've been a team for years. That kind of familiarity, it's been kind of knocked me off. It was I was surprised, because here's issue 3 of characters that never knew existed, and they didn't exist until the series. Yet there's there's an established history.
The writing is good enough to carry off the fact that with no background, these characters have been working together for years, and the characterization is good enough to pull that off.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. You said that a lot better than I did. I have my ideas of who's responsible for everything, but I won't make it public. I may tell a couple of people who I think is responsible for, but be interesting to see if I'm right.
It's the butler.
There is no butler. See, you're not reading the book. You need to go read the book.
Hey, it's always the butler.
Except when it's not.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go off topic here a little bit, since you mentioned Butler and we've kind of mentioned him history. I don't know if you guys heard, but Eileen Brennan apparently died Sunday.
Yeah, I heard that today.
And some of y'all may be wondering, where the hell did that come from? She played Mrs. Peacock in the movie version of Clue. But she's been in a ton of movies, so she was receive a nomination. Was it just a nomination, or did she win an award for Private Benjamin?
I think she won the award for Benjamin.
Okay. She was in The Last Picture Show. She was in The Sting. She's been in a ton of movies and TV shows and all that. At the age of 80, bladder cancer, unfortunately. And that may have been the reason why she was not part of the Clue episode of Psych. She may have been too ill
Yeah, could be.
not to be a part of it.
Very true.
So
All right. Should I do one more?
if you want to.
I've got one more, and I'm going to cheat a little. I'm gonna jump on one of those elephants that I talked about avoiding, and pull out one that has only had one issue so far, but it was not only was it very much anticipated, but it was very well received, and I can only, of course, be talking about Red Sonja.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we've got an iconic character created by Robert E. Howard, right alongside with the whole Conan universe. And so, what should we do with this book? Let's hand her to one of the most popular female writers in the business right now, and let's see what happens. And it is everything everybody wanted it to be. It's got wonderful action. It's got just amazing writing, and this is all in one issue at this point. Everybody's dreams are fulfilled, and honestly, they really are. It really is well done. She adds enough humor to it, to what is a very serious character. I mean, there is very little humor in any of Howard's stuff. I mean, it's and she manages to make it funny, and it's a very moving story. Essentially, it's been out long enough. I don't think I have to worry about spoilers. She has like 3 days to prepare a castle full of women and children to die with honor, and so they spend several pages of this book showing her attempting to train these people to die, and it's very moving. And she rides out of that castle alone to face a horde at the end, and you're just like, wow. I mean, there's just, I usually can BS some words, but just wow.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to the second.
Have we seen another link here? Mike has given us Wild Blue Yonder, Red 10.
No, I gave you Red 10.
I said
Oh,
I was Red Team.
Oh, you had Red Team and Red Sonja. So we have 4 colors right there.
He's a colorful person. What can I say?
Hey, hey.
But this coming from no, it wasn't you that picked the black and white. Did you pick a black and white title? Yeah, you picked Satellite Sam.
Yes, I did. Satellite Sam.
So yeah, you know.
Yes, the adult title.
The adult title, right?
One of 2, yes.
In other words, the porn mags.
Hey.
He picks all the adult titles, and I picked the one called Screwed. I mean, it's how far off is it, you know? But anyway. No, I actually wasn't taking notes all that carefully, so I had no idea I was picking some notes.
Well, James did all the post-apocalyptic books, so hey.
Yeah.
He stole my Lazarus, is what he did. But anyway, that's okay.
Surprised. I'm sure he would have stayed around and said Wild Blue Yonder too. So hey, because that's another one too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Les. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. My train of thought is derailed. So.
We broke Les again.
Yes.
You got any more?
But that's about all I have too.
Yeah, that was pretty much my list. Or I added the Red 10 since, but that's okay.
Hey, yeah.
There's a title out there there's a title out there, and I haven't read all of it. I started the first issue, and they're in issue 2 now, East of West. Did you,
I've heard good things about it. I haven't picked it up yet either.
I haven't picked it up either.
okay. Because I know that #1 just flew off the shelves, and you can now pick up a #1 first print for some higher dollars.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Dead air.
Well, I thought you were going to say something else.
No, like I said, I haven't finished the first issue, so it's interesting, but I didn't know if you guys had read that or not.
I have not.
No, I may go back because I've heard enough good stuff about that one.
Yeah.
I may go back.
I may do the same.
Okay.
Any other titles we want to mention?
Not that I don't already talk about all the time anyway.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid those because y'all don't want to hear me harping about the same old 5 books all the time.
Okay.
Well, between the 3 of you guys, I've picked up some titles that I want to start looking at, so.
Sweet.
Cool. Happy to help out.
Hopefully you won't think we're all idiots for recommending them.
Oh, no.
Most of them you won't because there's some good stuff in there. We're all pretty much in agreement on a lot of it.
Yeah. Anything else y'all want to add newsworthy wise or before we sign off for tonight?
Not that I know of, sir.
I was going to throw out, I don't remember if we talked about this last week. I remember we talked about it was me that brought up Jim Zub's new projects, but there was one new project that came out of Comic-Con that I don't remember if we mentioned. It was a Gail Simone thing. She's getting ready to start a Tomb Raider book.
I had heard about that, but I didn't get anything official. So, but that would be cool.
It's happening.
Cool.
I think it will be interesting. I mean, the movies notwithstanding, I think it will be interesting to see what she does with the character. I mean, because if anybody's going to treat the character right, I think it's going to be her.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that may be a fun read. Well, it more than likely will be a fun read.
Almost certainly be a fun read.
Right.
What it turns out to be will be interesting to see, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. News broke today that apparently in this new season of Arrow, they will introduce the Flash with the possibility of spinning him off into his own TV series.
Possibly a prelude to a movie, one might say.
Well, that's the thing, because they're talking about doing a TV show, yet during the con, one of the things that popped up was a Flash movie in 2016. So I'm like, are you really going to do a show and a TV series and a movie? I don't know. We're still gonna have to wait for more word, but I know Arrow TV series. I think it's ArrowTV.com. I saw late this afternoon posted some tidbits from a press call that featured the producers and Jeff Johns, who will be writing those particular episodes on Arrow that will introduce Barry Allen. It sounds like we will see some powers, which is going to be kind of going against their whole no powers thing that they had last season. So who knows about that? But but apparently it'll be episodes 8 and 9, and then he'll show up again on 20, and then episode 20, and then I guess depending on how well things go from that, then the character may get his own show. But they are so gung ho about this that they apparently have put the whole Wonder Woman Origins TV series on hold.
Oh yeah, I heard a bunch of people grousing about that.
Yeah, which I'm not sure what the thinking is there. I guess, but I know they said that there were some issues. It never made it the original script never made it to pilot or something like that. So they commissioned a new script, but now it's on hold. So we don't. So who knows? I'm not sure. Nobody knows for sure outside of.
Right, they may not be sure themselves.
Yeah. So, and it's a shame because I kind of like the concept of what they were going with. I mean, yeah, it sounded a little bit too much like Smallville, and for those who are not aware of it, it's supposedly we're going to start off with Diana on Themyscira and basically leading up to where she would go to man's world. Now, whether they would actually do that or not, who knows? I guess it would really depend on how successful the series would have gone. But I would think that would be something they would have to do at some point. Is get her to man's world and then have the character realize what is going on in the rest of the world, the kind of the stranger in a strange land type of thing. But who knows? No. But we may have the Flash on TV again.
I could live with that. It's Barry Allen, so I could live with that. Smallville had Impulse on, did they not?
I think so. I thought you watched Smallville.
Well, I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, they did, because they also had Aquaman and Cyborg.
Yeah, they had a really patchwork Justice League. And they had characters, two characters that were never even on the team in the comics, but one of them they have now rectified.
Yeah.
Oh. So, any other news items before we head out tonight? Any kind of shout-outs or news notes that you might want to spout out before we head out? We call it a night and get out of here?
I think we're pretty much done.
I know
Yeah.
I am. I'm starting to get tongue-tied.
Yeah.
You well, Mikey, you want to promote your Twitter?
My tweeter.
Your Twitter account?
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Ah!
I am on Twitter. I am at Mikey Geek,
As you can see right there.
as says on my thing down there. And as far as website goes, as far as website, yes.
That works real well after that previous line you just said.
Oh wow, yeah. That was... I told you I was done. It's not that kind of website, people. It's not that kind of website. But yeah, as far as website goes, I just freeload with Tom on the Fellowship of the Geeks website.
If James was here, he would promote his website, a galaxy called Dallas.com.
That doesn't get any easier to say as the weeks go by either.
That's right. No, it doesn't. Especially after you've been spending all night getting your tongue twisted saying things.
Pretty much. He's also on Twitter at Galaxy_Dallas.
That's right.
Track him down.
Track him down. Maybe he'll follow you.
He might.
He's following you now, isn't he, Mikey?
Yes, he finally is following me. That
Yay.
was he thought for sure he already was, but man.
And of course, we're www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. We're on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Of course, we're on Facebook and Google+. So with that, we would say thank you for watching, and we will be back next week. I promise that we'll have a little bit more of our normal format.
Yeah, we've been a little lazy with the Comic-Con thing, and we kind of didn't really have an idea what we were going to do coming into this, but we managed to come up with something at the last minute. And
yep.
Hopefully it didn't really show that much. But
hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah.
So with that, if you have any, please contact us with any kind of feedback. We would greatly appreciate it. Email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Love to hear from you. So with that, we say good night and take it easy, and we'll see you next time.
Farewell.
Good night.
Later, guys.